Hey folks, welcome to Free Speech, video podcast on Stand Up New York Labs. Today we have the delectable Katherine Timpf, who is our boots on the ground when it comes to college campus insanity. I'm so old that I think of you as a little kid in college.
Right.
But you're a woman.
Yeah, I've been out of college since 2010.
2010?
Yes.
And we're not that far from 16.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're not in college anymore.
No.
But isn't that how you made your bones?
Exactly. Well, I started reporting on this stuff because I started reporting on political correctness stuff, and it's the worst at these campuses. It's absolutely ridiculous.
People don't know how bad it is.
It's really bad. I wrote a thing yesterday about maracas. We're on a poster for a charity for foster kids, and the sorority had to cancel the charity, and they had to remove all the maraca pictures from Facebook.
Wow. Because why?
One girl complained. She was a Mexican girl, said it was offensive to Mexicans, but she also was a foster kid. And then she was also upset that the event got canceled and that she was being bullied. So it's like, then don't say like the stupidest stuff ever.
So this was a party benefit for foster children.
Yes.
And the maracas implied that a disproportionate number of foster children are of Hispanic descent.
No, not even. It was called queso for casa. It's supposed to be the tacos or something. So, tacos and maracas aren't all that these cultures are about. So she said it was incredibly offensive. The school had everything taken down. They had to cancel the whole event. They started a GoFundMe page for it or something, made some money. And then she's like, why did you cancel it? And why is everyone being so mean to me? It's like, because you ruin everything. You're the kind of people that ruin everything.
You sound right now like you're telling me about Hasidic Jews and some custom I've never heard of that involves a shack outside 3 days a year, and it's called mahuchas, and it represents, a ghost who flew over or whatever. I still have trouble understanding what the hell you're talking about. And that's why I like you as a guest, because you speak college campus.
Right.
And you know their bizarre customs. And I think sane people, and I went to school, by the way, in the early 90s during political correctness when it was really, gaining its stride. And I still am totally baffled by this. So sorry to bore you and the folks at home. I still am not totally understanding this. So it was a benefit for foster children.
Right.
And they happened just randomly to choose a tacos theme.
Yeah.
Probably because it's cheap food.
Yeah.
And
tacos
pizza's
are delicious.
too greasy.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the list options for cheap food. There's barbecues.
And it's something the sorority does nationally. Like all the chapters have always done this little taco fundraiser.
Because what are your options with cheap bulk food?
Right.
Pizza, tacos.
Or you serve tacos and just call it food party and just don't put anything on the flyer.
What part of Mexican culture would she like us to include?
I don't know. She wants it all to be like a history museum, and I don't know. I really don't know.
As far as their contributions go, I'm sorry, but Mexico's not known for inventions in the past, say, 100 years. In fact, I think Vicente Fox was asked that. He said, what has Mexico contributed innovation-wise in the past 50, 100 years? And he said, the taco. Mm-hmm. So, by those rights, the taco is the best they have to offer. And I know we can go back to the Aztecs and all that cool pyramid-looking architecture, but that's back when they were eating babies and sacrificing virgins. So I'm not sure you want to open that Pandora's box.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess it's like cultural appropriation, which is taking one thing from a culture that doesn't belong to you and ignoring the rest of it. So apparently they'd have to have, and by that logic, right, they'd have to have every single piece of every cultural historical thing ever.
Okay.
At their taco fundraiser.
So we can't appropriate other cultures. We're white. Our sorority is white, mostly.
Right.
So we're going to focus on white. We'll have a Celtic cross. You're not allowed to do that.
No, you're not allowed to do that. I don't know. I mean, so then what they had to do is just raise money on the internet on a web page. It's so boring. They try to do something kind of fun, some tacos. Nope.
It probably raises less money, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
This goes back to what I've always said, where liberals hurt the people they're trying to help.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They come up with these rules. They just want to punish upper, middle class and up white people.
Yes.
And they wouldn't mind if some white trash gets hurt, too. No, I shouldn't say it's a class thing, because they want all white people to suffer.
Right.
And they don't have another option. So I don't like your flyer. It has a taco on it, but I have no other ideas. And my idea is so restrictive, you're going to end up raising less money and it'll be less fun.
Right, for foster kids. And she was a former foster kid. Just like, well, I forget what school it was with the, it was Wellesley, whatever. They did they have the housing for LGBTQQFAG in the middle. BDSM, it's like 15 letters. So it's like gender fuck is one of them. Then like literally BDSM. So then they have like questioning. So people who like think maybe they're gay, and then like BDS. So what is this house, right? And then they also say like, oh, anybody who doesn't fall under this. It's like you're making a mockery of anybody that actually does have some
Right.
sort of actual issue or, you know.
Well, they no longer have anything in common, like with a
Right.
dyed-in-the-wool, bona fide homosexual who sucks cocks, thinks vaginas are disgusting. He's almost conservative to them.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
a square. Mm-hmm. They don't
Yeah.
get along.
Yeah, I saw somebody comment on it. You forgot the two, which is, and they weren't joking, like two-spirit, which is like a Native American transgender like concept of like male, and I don't know. I'm not a Native American scholar, so if I'm getting anything wrong here, then sorry for white splaining this, but like that's like found in their ancient whatever. And so some people go by that, and so if you call them a transgender, then that's offensive because they're two-spirit, and the fact that this wasn't included in this abbreviation pissed people off. And it's just like, so at what you don't have anything in common anymore. And I was actually out last night with my friend who's gay, and he was saying that too. He's like, yeah, like there's no like LGBT, like we don't even have like a cause anymore, because now we're just lumped in with absolutely everything ever, other than like straight heterosexual married white sex.
Well, there's advantages to having a group. Like when AIDS first came out, and they fucked this up, by the way, at the beginning. They said it's a middle class, normal person disease, and then all the funding was going to the suburbs. When I was a teenager in the late 80s, everyone was convinced they had AIDS, even though we lived in the lily white suburban Canadian suburbs. And then they go, wait a minute, all the funding's going to nerds. We're homosexuals and maybe a few junkies. We need the money. So anyway, the gays said we're a team, we're a group, and they got funding and it helped. But now you have all these mentally ill people, like the two-spirit types. What's the point of being together? They've got to cut them loose.
And they also have on this house too BDSM. So if you just like to be like choked or whipped, all of a sudden you're part of this social justice movement. What do those things have in common? That's so weird. I don't see how that's like should be a protected class either.
Well, and that's mainstream. I mean,
right, it is mainstream. It's been around forever.
In New York City, I would estimate young women, I'm going to go in the high 80s, low 90s, like to be choke fucked.
Right. It's not weird. These people want to be special.
Right.
These kids, a lot of them want to be special snowflakes, and they wind up in there. And then the kids that actually are like, oh yeah, I'm gay and my parents hate me for it. Like they don't have any support. So like, hold on, let's talk to this girl about her choking for a little bit. And like we'll get to you later. It's like it's ridiculous. Like they're not a united cause anymore. It's just like a big like weird party.
Well, I think most adults in America just write them off. It's the Flat Earth Society. They're insane. And I think that's a big mistake because this is the future.
Yep,
and
exactly.
A tiny minority is taking STEM and are going to be chemists. But these people end up being journalists, as we're already seeing on MSNBC.
Yeah.
They end up being politicians, as we're already seeing. They end up influencing our society. So although it is a complete lunatic asylum, you have to care about these fucking losers.
Everyone says that to me all the time. They're like, well, what are they going to do, when they get to the real world? It's like they are going to be the real world. Like, what are you going to do when they are the real world? Because, Ivy League schools, this is huge. Like, I sent you that thing about how Harvard, a lot of the professors are not even teaching rape law.
That's a great example. Crucial example.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain that?
Well, because it's too triggering, right? To teach rape law. So some professors at schools across the country, a Harvard law professor wrote a piece about this a couple months ago. They're just not teaching it, so on the one hand, they're saying, these feminist advocates are saying rape is too hard to prosecute, which it is. But they're also saying, but it's too triggering to learn rape law. So then so there are going to be no lawyers who know anything about it. So that's going to make it a lot easier. But it's so bad. One professor even said that a student approached her and said, don't use the word violate.
Wow.
like don't like violates the law because it was too triggering for
This
her.
is like illegal alien that exists in legal documents.
Mm-hmm.
It's the proper term, and you're not allowed to say that.
Right,
They're
or-
changing the language.
They're changing the language. I mean, violate? Come on, man. Then if you're too sensitive to be anywhere, if that's your problem, then you need to like go get some therapy. You can't ask everyone to change the way they talk because you as one person are upset and the way the whole system is run.
And you're assuming women don't like being violated.
Right, yeah.
If I was describing sex to an alien, I've always said this. It's a snake who's just caught a mouse, and the fangs have sunk into its back. The mouse knows it's dead. And it's just one more swallow before the mouse disappears. Women like that domination.
Well, yeah, guys are terrified now. I would hate to be. I mean, like, I like when people hit on me, right? I'm not going to go up to a dude and be like, just so you know, I would consent if you wanted to have sex with me. You know what I mean? But that's what, like, guys have to expect right now. The affirmative consent, if the consent is not ongoing and explicit, then it's rape, basically. So, like, if your boyfriend, like, and you are making out and then he starts, like, touching you, if he didn't ask you first, he sexually assaulted you, and you can like go.
That's taking all the fun. The whole fun
Yeah.
is the danger.
Right. It's taking, right. And people make jokes like, what do you need to do? Sign a contract first. And what they don't understand is like, that's not even a radical example. That's not radical enough because unless you have like a stack of contracts and you're signing them the whole time you're doing it, that's not enough because you can revoke consent at any time. It needs to be ongoing. Yes, this is okay. This is still okay. This is still okay. Yes, this is still okay. Which is like, that's disgusting. That's gross.
Well,
Like sex doesn't, they're like, well, it needs to be, sex doesn't need to always be enthusiastic.
sex
It's
is
not.
weird.
It's, yeah.
It's like humor. And I
Right.
know, I remember there was this one girl and she was like, I'm your fucking whore. I'm your property. I'm your slut. My trademark was, I'm your property, Gavin McInnes. I would get them to say that.
Okay.
And she was kind of feministy, empowered Jew broad. And after we were done, she's having a cigarette and she goes, by the way, I'm not your slut.
Yeah. Just
Like
so
it's
you know.
a game.
Yeah.
While you're there, you're
Right.
not when you're choke fucking someone. You're not trying to deprive them of oxygen so they die. But
Right.
these squares don't understand that, and they've taken the fun out of humor. They're taking the fun out of sex. But just to get to the roots of it, you pointed out something recently to me. We were talking about the motives for this ruining of sex on campus, and you said there's a financial motive for the schools to overblow. To make rape bigger than it is.
Right. Well, because now Obama decided to get involved and say, well, you had better be taking sexual assault seriously enough. We're going to fine you. We're going to, because they have the money, right? And then so these schools are having these policies where it is affirmative consent. Believe that you have to prove she said yes and not that she didn't say no. So basically they have a financial incentive to side with the accuser, because if they don't, then the Department of Education come in and say, you're not trying hard enough, look at, you didn't take Mattress Girl's case seriously enough, and now we're going to take your money and we get to keep it. Like when they find these schools, like they get to keep it. So,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how much money are we talking about? Do you know?
It varies. I think I don't know exactly how much money, but it's because the federal government got involved, they're literally in the dorms, kind of regulating how you can have sex.
So if rape is abolished on campus, said campus loses money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's and why are these administrators handling sexual assault in the first place?
Well, that's another whole Pandora's box, but I think it also goes back to money. That's more jobs, that's more administration. And I think the other problem with real justice with cops is rape isn't as common as they want it to be. In order to justify this huge infrastructure, you need 1 in 4 women to get raped on campus.
Ridiculous. That would be, you'd be safer in like Sudan somewhere,
Detroit,
walking
where you're
around
from.
naked than you would on a college campus. That's just, people don't even use context clues to think, okay, really though? They're just like, yeah, 1 in 4 and 1 are raped. And it's just like, but how could that be possible?
Yeah, this is Sodom and Gomorrah.
Nobody
it's a
would
riot.
go to college.
This is a
at all.
fucking brawl going
Right.
so 1 in 4 women get raped. Okay, so also 2 out of 4 or 1 in 2 buildings, I assume, is burned to the ground. And chairs are thrown through windows daily. Pets are just killed for fun. They slit dogs' throats. Like this world they're describing is brutal anarchy.
It is. And it's not. It's just like 1 in 4 women have had sex when they were, not completely sober and saying yes the whole time.
That's why I don't know about your parents, but that's why I'm here. Sober sex, boof. I would disappear.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then it's also offensive to me as a woman. Like, this yes means yes. You need to say yes. Like, you think that I'm so stupid and incompetent that I would just allow myself to be raped rather than say no.
It's ironic that this
hook up with
trend
you.
was started by women, and it is totally devoid of logic.
It is.
And irrational.
Well,
especially 5 days a month. When we discuss this, it becomes particular. Maybe these bills, these programs come up with them 5 days a month.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I embrace all my feelings. So I'm not ashamed of my feelings. I'm not trying to be a dude.
Let's go through our own rape lives, shall we? Because just to examine this woman in Colombia, what's her name? Ella
something.
Susskind. She's got a weird. She's quite attractive. I like her weird Asian Ukrainian look. But her contention, as far as I can see, is they were doing it consensually from behind,
Right.
and it schlooped into the butt.
Right.
Now her story is she screamed, "Get out! Stop! 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 Stop!" And he refused, and he held her down and fucked her in the ass.
Right.
And then she was caught corresponding with him in a groovy way. And these people, that like the Jezebel world, is so locked into this narrative of the rape that they ignore the fact that she refused to go to police because she found it too uncomfortable. Meanwhile, I thought you were raped.
Right.
That's pretty uncomfortable.
Right.
And why are you letting a rapist loose?
Right.
And secondly, when they see this corresponding with him, they go, no rape victim is perfect. There's no such thing as a ideal rape victim. And she was doing that to sort of ease him away so he wouldn't kill her.
Right, being like, I love you and I miss you. Right. And even when the whole Rolling Stone Jackie thing came out, where Jackie was like, no, that didn't happen. Like, Roxanne Gay is tweeting, I believe you, Jackie. Like, shut up, it's over. Like,
yeah, well, if you read Rolling Stone today, or the issue after that shit hit the fan, they have a little disclaimer in the letters page that says we raised a lot of awareness about rape on campus, and though there were some inconsistencies, when you talk to the left about these kind of things, they're unfazed.
They're unfazed. And I have a good friend actually who's a comedian, and she's a total feminist, right? We don't agree on hardly anything except for she thinks this is ridiculous. She's like, stop this, stop. You're being ridiculous and you're not helping.
Yeah.
You're actually doing people who have been raped a disservice by doing this.
That's the problem. I'm coming at this from a feminist perspective, and I think of a friend of mine. This is a rape, okay, for the record. She's coming home. She's on South 5th in Williamsburg, Dominican kind of a street in a Puerto Rican neighborhood. Lots of DDP gangsters there. Dominicans don't play. And nuts who have been on welfare their whole fucking lives, and their mother was and their grandfather was. So she gets into her little lobby. She's one of the gentrifiers. And some nut who's not used to seeing pretty white, middle-class white girls from the Midwest, right? It's almost like an Amish seeing a girl in short shorts. Like their circuits fry.
Right.
He grabs her. He stabs her. She faints from the pain. He probably fucked her.
Right.
So she goes to the police, obviously, immediately. And they give her a rape kit, and it's likely she was raped. I don't know the exact details on that. And she had to go on AIDS medicine.
Yeah.
Where you can't drink for something like 6 months. Just in case she had HIV.
Yeah.
Now that's a fucking rape, okay? Right. Having sex with your boyfriend and it schloops into her butt, like that has probably happened to me 37 times. And then the girl will go, nope, or wrong hole or something.
Ow.
And this is maybe a little too controversial, but it's pretty easy to not have a dick in your butt. You just sort of go forward. Like you'd have to be He-Man to rape a woman in the ass.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's a really good point. I didn't think of it that way. But you think he held her down and then he like brutally raped her and then he left. And then you look at her being like, hey, what's up, miss you?
If you're on all fours, you just flomp forward and it schloops out.
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm going to regret saying this. I don't get rape, really. I mean, I get the knife and the balaclava in the alleyway. I'm going to fuck you no matter what. Okay, I better let him fuck me. But when a woman, can't you just close your legs?
I don't know. I mean, like some days are pretty, I'm like a very, very small person, so I would probably be pretty
I bet I couldn't pry apart your legs
I don't
right
know.
now.
But I mean,
even when I want to fuck my wife, and we both are like, let's get to business here, it still takes some sort of
Yeah, well, they're not just talking about rape; they're talking about assault. So it's like unwanted touching or like unwanted. So unwanted kissing was part of this 1 in 4 statistic, or 1 in 5, or whatever.
Well,
it is.
there's a reason that the law is the law, because
Right.
over centuries, back to the Magna Carta, we have ironed out a lot of kinks.
Yeah.
And one of them is, let's not get involved in kissing, okay? If a chick is making out with a dude she has absolutely no interest in sleeping with, ladies, don't take home a guy when you're both drunk and make out with him when the idea of fucking him is reviling.
Right, or just don't do, like, there's so many people that are like, yeah, I didn't, if he would have, he didn't ask me, I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. That's rape. No, it's not, unless you were like, why is it not good enough to have it be either you said no or you couldn't say no because you were like passed out or you were like whatever reason? Why is that not enough? With these kinds of laws and policies, you're assuming that women are never capable of saying no.
Yes.
They're idiots. Like, I don't understand why. I would have no problem being like, no, I don't want to hook up with you. You're disgusting. I do it all the time. It's really not that hard. It's really not.
Well, and when it's not that hard, it's especially hard to rape.
Yes.
Well, there's another myth going on that we can't go to the police because they'll screw up the case or they'll intimidate the woman. And there's all these rapes going on that aren't reported. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to, well, the 1 in 4 goes back to what is it, Mother Jones, Miss Magazine. Mm-hmm. But the false stat of these unreported rapes is also a complete myth that just made a good infographic and generated, the last whole thing is it generates discourse. So they don't care about the actual truth. But we all know from our own lives, from the hundreds of men and women we know, the thousands, how prevalent rape is.
Right. And I've seen people lie. There was this one, my one friend, he had a girl. Well, basically this girl and her boyfriend broke up for a little bit. And so she has sex with one of his friends. They get back together. He finds out and she says he raped me.
Yes.
I swear that she said this. And
we've heard of these cases a lot.
She told me she was a crazy person. She was like a psycho girl. She told me, she's like, yeah, I don't know what to do. So I just said, I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I'm hanging out with my friend and the boyfriend comes in and just punches him in the face. And he's like, the kid's like, what did I do? He's like, you know what you did. You know, huge fight. And I'm just like, are you kidding? And then the truth was exposed when like 3 weeks later she texted her rapist, hey, I'll tell everyone you did not rape me if you can find me some weed. So
that's amazing,
right? So then he obviously saved that text message and was like, "Are you like?" And it's. And then if you have people, and of course there are, cases that are like a gray area where, because there isn't always this proof or whatever. But if you're always saying yes, always, I'm gonna publicize every time someone says they were raped and say stand behind them 100%. That's not always going to be true. There are also people who lie about it. So you can't,
Well, thank God they didn't end up in court. That's 15 years in jail.
Exactly.
But I've talked to a woman. I became obsessed with this mattress case because it was a Mindy Kaling show episode where it went in her butt. And this is a comedy show.
Right.
And he said it was an accident. And she said, will you swear on your mother's life? And then he changed the subject, right? And there's a scene where she sort of walks backwards out of the room because she doesn't want him looking at her ass because he's ass obsessed. Oh. Joke, comedy. And the whole crux of this episode was how funny it is that he put it in her butt and is pretending that it was an accident and he didn't even know or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's amusing. And I've talked to a lot of women where they go, yeah, we're hosting on it, went in the butt. And afterwards it was like you.
Right.
Will you take it easy with that? It's sort of like, and I tend to do this a lot, if you're driving by a puddle and you just sort of veer to the right and give the person a good splash and they go, hey, what are you, crazy? The fuck's the matter with you?
Right.
It's like a Mondays.
Yeah. No, it's not like this dramatic story where you carry your mattress around. I mean, there's also, of course, like, when you're like, you get raped, of course, there's like also like being terrified. And so being like, yeah, do me because I'm afraid you're going to kill me or I'm afraid something bad's going to happen, blah, blah, blah.
Right. That's rape.
That's right.
That's become trivialized.
Exactly.
And it's not just damaging with the law. Thank God we still have a process where you have to provide evidence and we do a trial and we fucking crucify rapists, by the way. 15 years in jail is the average sentence. Mm-hmm. Thank God we have that because in the general public's demeanor, and I'm guilty of this too, now thanks to these fucking frauds like Lena Dunham, like UVA, like Mattress Girl.
Yeah.
When I hear of a case, unfortunately now, my first instinct is, well,
Right.
let's see the data.
Right.
I've been through this before.
And I didn't used to think that way, but I do too. And it makes me feel bad, but it's kind of just like, it's been pretty much every story that has been in the media has turned out to be not true. And not even just like a little not true, but really, really not true.
That's a great point. And that spreads out from rape and homophobia into the whole liberal ethos. They've created this fake world where the KKK is on every corner. And the supply of this epoch doesn't meet the demand. So they invent it. Like we just saw the NAACP bomb, which looked like a fucking bottle rocket went off.
Yeah.
It's just I could probably take it to the face, whatever it was, and have a small mole burn there.
Right, a bomb.
And it turns out it was some guy mad at his accountant. It was on the other end of the building.
Right.
It wasn't even at the NAACP building.
Right.
Or we have, this goes back to Tawana Brawley. Every time there's a hate crime, it's always like faggot in dripping spray painted red across the garage. And real rednecks, they don't behave. That's an artistic thing to do.
Yeah, they don't
Real homophobes would stab your tires and disappear.
Right.
They don't go get paint and use color and have fonts.
And spend money to, I mean, it's amazing where people can find racism. Another college thing, and I wish I remember what school this was. I wrote it last year, but a student editorial board, not one student, wrote a piece about how bras that are called nude colored bras are racist. Because not everyone is that color when they're naked.
But wait a minute. There's a huge variety of nude bras.
Right.
There's dark brown nude bras.
Right, but the color nude being seen as like the pale brown, whatever, is racist. Because how would you feel if you saw it was called that and you didn't look that color naked?
Okay, that's infuriating for 92 reasons. Always logic is the last thing they think of. Nude has a variety. It's a type of color. It's not a specific color.
Right.
Secondly, blacks are maybe 13% of the population. And we keep hearing this. How would you feel if every time you turned on the TV? Well, if I lived in fucking Japan, I would be used to it by now.
Right. I mean, I used to live in East Harlem. I moved now. But I was one of maybe 3 white people in the neighborhood, and I had to go somewhere else to buy my shampoo. Like I had to go to another. I swear, like they didn't have my shampoo at my local drugstore.
How do you think that made me feel?
Because I don't, and I'm not saying that I've gone through all of the same struggles of all the people in this neighborhood. Of course not. But like, the things are, for the people who live in that area. On the whole, they're not going to sell a bunch of blonde hair care products. They're not. So why would they stock up on them? I will get my shampoo in Midtown while I'm at work.
I use African-American woman's product in my hair, a thing called Razak for perms. I have to go to the black part of town to get it. It's called the free market, you fucking losers.
Right, exactly.
Now, you got in shit, didn't you, for living in Harlem? What, did you notice a murder and you were called racist?
Oh, I got shit for a lot of different things about, I wrote about environmental justice, which is something I'm also interested in too, because so basically all it is they can make all these laws saying, you can't put this business here. It has bad food and it's a food desert and this is a poor minority neighborhood, or this business is, emissions or this and that. And so basically they keep businesses out of the neighborhoods, and these laws hurt the neighborhood. And I went to a lot of the meetings and everything, and I wrote about it, and some Media Matters person wrote an article. Basically, they copied my entire article, omitted everything that said this was my neighborhood, and painted me as some rich white racist.
Voyeur guessing what it's like to live in Harlem.
Right, and then I called her out on it. She's like, "Well, it doesn't matter if you live there or not." I'm like, "Clearly it does, or you wouldn't have gone through all the trouble to delete it all."
To remove it.
But then there was also a shooting right outside my building, and I posted about it, being like, guns are not allowed out in the streets. How did this possibly happen? 3 people were shot. 1 person died there was blood all over the front of my building.
Amazing.
And someone was like, "Why are you sharing this? This is just because they said it was racist because I'm perpetuating the narrative that there's these murders and these black." I'm like, this is my life. This is off of my balcony. This is when I'm drinking my coffee and overlooking right now.
Yeah, and you're a writer. You're supposed to write about what you experienced.
Exactly. This is my experience. I mean, I'm sorry that you think I'm the wrong caller for this experience, but this is my experience.
Well, that dwells on the negative. It's not positive.
Right.
A lot of reality shows like Pawn Stars, they're racist because they're just focusing on one. They should focus on the black neurosurgeon.
Right. I should have blamed it on climate change. I saw that. Ferguson, all the unrest was because they were too hot. Like, I swear I read a thing and they were too hot because of global warming. And that's like the appropriate white answer for me.
It wasn't that hot.
Bring it back
Ferguson.
to, no, it wasn't.
I think it was 70 degrees.
Yeah, it was like not cold. I don't know. It's too sweaty. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, I said, hey, look, bad criminals with guns.
Yes.
Don't you? Oh, so black criminal. Like, I can't help who they. Yeah, people were shot. We don't even know who shot them because it was a drive-by. But
look, there's almost a murder day in New York. It's all in Harlem and Bushwick, East New York. It's all in black Hispanic areas. Most gangs actually in New York, I think, are Hispanic. I don't know why that is. There's lots of black bloods. There's one or two Crips, but the majority of gangs seem to be Hispanic. But they don't happen in mainstream, boring, normal Manhattan. And you wouldn't know that from watching Law and Order.
No, you wouldn't. I do watch a lot of Law and Order.
I was watching it last night. There was a fucking double homicide in the guy's bar, and he's taking stools off the table like, yeah, look, I gotta go. What do you want? If you're the bar owner, you'd be going, wait, what?
Yeah.
2 people were killed here? Holy fuck.
Yeah,
Okay, well, first of all, we're closed today. I'm locking the deadbolt. Please sit down. Can I get you guys something, a coffee? Tell me what fucking happened.
Right.
That's petrifying.
They're always, when I was in college, we had like a Law and Order SVU drinking game that we would play. And one of the things was whenever somebody calmly goes about their work while being interrogated by the
murder.
SVU, about someone being murdered
3
and raped
feet away.
in your
It happened right there.
establishment.
They're mopping up the blood.
Yeah,
going,
so, yeah. Yeah, so look, I got work to do. So am I being detained here?
Are we fucking done here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is conceivable in Bushwick and Harlem. Well, it seems silly and irrelevant to an outsider, but this huge demand for social injustice in college campuses is already leaking out in the real world, ruining people's lives, because when they finally find a bad guy or finally create a fake bad guy, it's like when a polar bear finds some food. Polar bears are so vicious because they're hungry all the time. And when these polar bears find a fucking racist or someone bad, they ruin, like that woman who tweeted on her way, by the way, to do charity work in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
She tweeted, hey, I'm going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding. I'm white.
Right.
When the plane landed, her world had imploded.
Her life was over.
Her family hated her. Everyone was furious. Her family lives in South Africa. They hate her guts. She's finally got her life back on track by just disconnecting from the world. This woman was eaten alive by social justice warriors for a flippant joke that was actually, by the way, a parody of racism.
Right. It was about the way that people view it. All the people were outraged. They had the same thought. They shared the same belief.
Right.
Bad tweet. She expressed it in a bad way.
I don't even think it was a bad tweet. It was lampooning the bourgeoisie and saying, I won't get AIDS. I'm white. I'm immune.
Exactly. But I mean, given the way Twitter is, you gotta, it's terrifying. I mean, all I get, because I do a lot of satire, the amount of emails of just pure hatred that I get all the time, yeah, listen, idiot, Google me before you compose a 6-page hate mail.
Or work
Google
it through.
Yeah.
Work through the joke. So she thinks that white people can just inject AIDS heroin needles into their arms and be totally fine.
Right. Yeah, that's what she actually believes.
That's what she believes.
She actually believes.
It's like when I said short hair is rape once. Because I was fucking a girl years and years ago, and she had a little bit of lower back fur and short hair. So when you look down, she wasn't a particularly curvy lady. I looked down and I was seeing a 12-year-old boy. So I go, you just made me fuck a 12-year-old boy. You raped me. Sort of making fun of the loose definition of the word. All this hate mail, fuck you. And so I had to say to these people, hold on. So I want a woman to go to jail for 15 years for having a hairdo.
Yeah.
Is that what we're getting at
that's
here?
that's what I always say too. I'm like, oh, okay, yes, really. I really am saying I was a rape victim, or that's ridiculous.
It just shows how far they have gone from reality. When they vilify these people and they create this fake world where they throw them in jail and they ruin their lives. They harass their employers. And this brings me to a bigger point that I think a lot of people say about libertarians. They go, Twitter's the free market. Your employer got harassed, not by the government. but by free people. And that is even worse than the government. At least when the government is oppressing people, like in the Soviet Union, like Putin murdering people in Ukraine very recently for demonstrating, at least that's something we can all band together and go, that's oppression. In today's day and age, we are voluntarily oppressing ourselves.
Right.
And you sort of said it just a second ago where you go, she should have known, it's Twitter. You know, or when this guy was thrown in jail for making that Muhammad video on Red Eye, someone was saying, oh, he violated his probation. So he should have known. No one asks what the probation is. They just go, well, he's breaking the law. For the record, that guy used a fake name on the Muhammad video because he didn't want to get fucking stabbed like Van Gogh's grandson did.
Right.
But he had some bank fraud charge that he already served time for. So part of his probation was you can't use a fake name. So that was his violation, and we all happily watch him go off to jail. Or my friend Lisa Carver, she was on some anarchist message board. This goes back to 2007. And she was saying, I don't know, something about the state, smash the state, anarchy stuff. And all the people on her message board said, stop what you're doing. You know, the authorities, this is an open forum. The authorities can see you.
Yeah.
Don't do this. And she was like, wow, they don't even have to show up for work now.
Yeah.
We just police ourselves.
Exactly. No, that's true. And I wrote actually about, so there was a party at a off-campus house. The frat guys live there. They threw a party that's supposed to be like a south of the border theme or something, Western theme.
I remember reading about this.
Yeah, people came in like border patrol costumes and like construction worker costumes, whatever. And so the school was like, okay, we'll tell them that's insensitive, but we can't punish them for what they did at their own house. People are enraged by this. So basically what you're saying, it's like, do you realize what you're saying is that you want the school to be able to tell you what you can and can't wear wherever you go? Or is there like a specific radius away from campus
Well,
where
they have their free speech zones, right?
Right.
They have their little 15-foot by 15-foot zone.
Ridiculous. So it's like, you want them to punish them for what they did. You can wear anything you want in your house. Sorry. I don't care if it's politically correct enough or if your party wasn't politically correct enough. That's not even the issue. It was off campus. School had nothing to do with it. It's been in the school newspaper for weeks. It's been this huge thing. It's like these dudes are like, I don't know. I didn't even.
It's a costume. Costumes are a great example of this war on fun, which is what political correctness really is. Because if you're not appropriating someone else, you're not wearing a costume.
Right, exactly. You have to go as yourself for Halloween.
That's Halloween now.
Yeah, exactly.
Katherine Timpf going as Katherine Timpf. I will be white guy in a suit. That's the end of the holiday. That's the end of the fun.
Right. I thought about it. I'm like, there is a picture of me 6 years old dressed up as Pocahontas, and I could never be president now if I wanted to. They'd be like, look at this little baby child racist. Do we really want
You
her?
also go, what's the matter with that, by the way?
She's smiling. Were they smiling when they were all getting smallpox? Like, she clearly doesn't know. Like, I could see, I'm serious. This picture could ruin my life.
That's something I resent, too, about this era of political correctness is we have to present an argument and do our research. They can just say that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like the Cleveland Indians cartoon. That's terrible. Why? Well, look at it. Yeah, it's a fucking cartoon. You go to Jamaica and you look at the way they depict blacks. Blacks depict blacks on a fridge magnet. And he's got big lips and eyes and he's playing soccer or it's a mammy. This is blacks doing blacks. It's a fucking cartoon. But you can't do cartoons in America because.
Right. There's so many things wrong with cartoons. If they're violent, they make kids violent. Kids are murdering other kids because they watch Bugs Bunny or whatever. I mean, they'll blame it on anything, but hey, like maybe their fault.
Even blackface.
Individuals.
What the fuck is the matter? Like Fred Armisen, whenever he was Barack Obama on SNL, he would just have his normal white face. And it looks fucking stupid. It looks like Barack Obama has food poisoning.
Arizona, I can't remember if it's Arizona State, University of Arizona, they just banned all face paint of any color over Halloween.
So what? Like the colors of your team?
Any face paint, yeah. Because it could be like make people feel unsafe.
That's amazing.
Like a face paint that wasn't black, like reminded somebody of black face paint, which reminds somebody of blackface, which reminds them of racism, which makes them feel unsafe. Which is that's what they were trying. No face paint.
It's amazing.
Unsafe.
Well, if you look up blackface, which no liberal has to do, they just know it's evil. I got into an argument on Fox the other day with a conservative who said, well, Jim Crow laws are named after a blackface character. Yes, and tell me why it's wrong. And if you look up blackface in general, in the 80s, there was British shows, minstrel shows, and it was a musical show that everyone watched all over Europe. Yes, sometimes in the olden days, in America specifically, it was used to lampoon black stereotypes, but there was also an element of reverence in this character. And I think whites found themselves kind of boring back then, and they saw these colorful Negroes, and they would dress up as them. And a lot of the acts were just cool, laid-back minstrels, while the whites are going, hey, man, why are you partying so much? You better stop rocking and rolling, or whatever the equivalent was, but you better stop jazzing. And no one has to look that up because they just go, blackface is evil. And it's sort of anti-education, and it's ironic that it's leaked into campus because the least information-friendly zone in the country now
is a college campus.
Is a college campus.
No face. And can you believe just even with Margaret Cho when she dressed up, made fun of, dressed up like a Korean war
that was
general
racist
against herself.
Yeah.
And she was like, don't tell me how to deal with like the struggles of my own people. Are you kidding me? And so there's all these white, people on Twitter, like these white editors, like the tech editor of Time Magazine is like, wow, this is, but a lot of their commentary on something that they think is offensive is just, wow.
Yes,
and that's it.
Or I
and then
can't
everybody,
even.
And I can't. Wow. And
I can't.
And then
and I
everybody
go, yeah,
shuts
you
up.
can't even.
And then everybody shuts up because they don't want to be called a racist. They don't want to be called a sexist. Or actually, it's not even sexist anymore. You're a rape apologist.
Rape apologist.
If you disagree with a feminist, you're a rape apologist.
Well, even like Terry Richardson had that thing where this girl decided 8 years later, Jamie Peck, she was a model. When you look at her and you go, you look like a pear. How are you a model? But no one would dare say that.
Right.
So it's just accepted that it's like Kate Moss. She decided 8 years later she didn't enjoy the sex. So she never even called it rape. But I've been called a rape apologist just for defending him. And I go, rape never came up, lady.
See, what's interesting is that he used to hang out with Lena Dunham because he was dating Lena Dunham's best friend for a while.
Who?
Terry Richardson. What was her name again?
The chick from Bad Company's daughter? The British one?
No, she was on Girls as like a bit.
Oh, yeah, I know her. The little short political girl.
Yeah. I forget her name or whatever. So they dated. So there's pictures of Lena Dunham partying with her and Terry Richardson, and the next day being like, I don't know how any of you guys can basically saying like, how do you still listen to R. Kelly like when he did, he's accused of all this.
Right.
I'm like, you're partying with someone who was accused of the same thing.
Yeah,
yourself.
I think she threw him under the bus much later on.
She let him take pictures of her with like her, pants off and her like chubby little legs or whatever on a chair.
Well, we keep straying from college campus, but I think that is not straying from the topic because college campus is merely the incubator for all this culture. But when we look like we're not talking about college campus with our college campus expert, we are. Yeah. And I think with Terry, it's pure college campus mentality. And this isn't just a war on fun. With Terry and with Dove Charney, who is, for all intents and purposes, has just lost American Apparel. No money, no nothing, no shares, fired. Now, I talked to Dove the other night, and he says, we're not done yet. So we'll see. But according to what's available on Google, he's done with no money.
Right.
And I think in both of those cases, it's a war on alpha males. It's a war on masculinity. And even Fred Armisen, remember there was a Gawker article, he's getting a reputation. He's just being a man.
There definitely is, yeah. You can't. Being a man, first of all, is like it would be a problematic.
Being
phrase.
A boy is problematic.
Being a man,
you get sent home for going like that.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There was. I just keep these cases keep flooding into my mind.
Yes.
And I'm thinking once this. I in a lot of them, there's so many of them, I don't always remember which school, but some kid was dancing like a Teletubby outside, and he happened to be outside of a sorority house. It was like after frat pickup. He's like dancing like an idiot, like the least sexual dancing I've ever seen. And some girl reported it to their office, their sexual assault office, being like, I was assaulted because I had to, watch this man dance in my front yard. He was hitting on me or whatever.
As a Teletubby. Was he wearing a Teletubby costume?
He's wearing a Teletubby costume.
How do you get your penis out of that thing?
I don't know.
The penis is a good 3 feet from the edge, no matter, even if you wear it backwards.
Yeah, I guess.
It's the least rapey suit. In fact, I could see a rapist having to wear that as a punishment.
Actually, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's, but then you're not just, it's not just acceptable. If you point out one of these things, you're kind of lauded as this social justice hero.
Right.
Like, wow, like you thought of something no one else thought of.
You care.
Yeah. Some PhD candidate at Berkeley gave this talk about adding transgender and gay issues to agriculture.
Oh, I see. You sent me that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found that guy online. It's a dude, a very
Yeah.
androgynous looking dude.
Yeah.
And that's his forte. He
his-
loves agriculture, gardening, and then he just crowbars transgenderism.
I tried so hard to understand. He was like, basically, it was food was about reproduction. And so food reproduces to make more food. So that's sexual. So we need to be bringing alternative sexualities and genders into the food discussion.
Why?
But what? I didn't even know like pieces of food had like gender identities.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Well, we've manipulated corn, so it's easier to grow. There's a lot of criteria there. Why do we have to start Do we have to start making it racially sensitive and make sure some corn is brown and some corn is yellow?
I had someone email me after that who said, I'm transgender and this pisses me off
Yes.
so bad.
Well, that's what's happening now to the normal freaks.
Normal people who, I mean, this person doesn't really care about them, right?
No.
They claim to be this advocate. Don't worry. There's not enough transgender representation in your food, and the person that they're claiming to advocate for is like, what are you talking about? Shut up! Like you're making a mockery of my whole life.
Yes.
So
Well, when I got in shit for transphobia, the real trannies like Justine Tunney and Bailey J, trans women, they came out of my defense, not even necessarily agreeing with me, but saying, yes, we should talk about this more. It's the normal, boring, middle-class college students who have made up some weird gender spin, like I'm BDSM, TQ. They got mad because I took away their snowflake status and said, you're just a normal, we used to call them lugs, lesbian until graduation. You're just a normal kid eating some pussies.
yeah,
When they're at their most delicious,
now
by the
they're
way.
questioning. Now it's
question-
part of
I
their
don't even have to
identity.
eat a
They're
pussy.
questioning. Yeah, if you've ever thought like a girl was pretty, you can live in this house. If you're a girl who thought it, like it's and then like even it's everywhere. Like OkCupid, like because of all like their young people on these dating websites, you can identify as actual like 5 sexualities at once. So I actually did. There's all these different gender identities and sexual preferences, and I sat at my desk and tried to combine any combination of 5. And it didn't make logical sense because
Right.
you can't be like gay and straight because bisexual is also an option.
Right.
And you can't be like, then there's different degrees of asexual now. There's like asexual. And then
But
there's
I have
the one
sex a lot and
there's
love
an
it.
asexual. And then there's like, well, I'm sort of asexual. And then there's one where like, I'm into romantic, I have romantic feelings, but not sexual ones. It's like, there's just names for these things. It's like you're describing how much you are or not into sex is not a separate sexuality.
Exactly. Well, that brings up a great point that we were talking about earlier where they haven't done their due diligence. They just throw all these nomenclatures out there and no one tries to run the numbers and go, can you be 5 things? Because they don't have to. They can't even.
Yeah.
So they don't have to do their homework. And Portlandia is spoiled rotten now. Because they get to lampoon all this, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel. There's so much fodder now for mocking. I argue Portlandia is a conservative show
Right,
because
that's
they
the thing earlier.
perfectly mock liberals. But because we're coming to the end of the episode here, I want to make sure we don't miss any of this insanity because you are the queen of campus lunacy. So I'm just going to spin the dial here. Okay, tick, 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 and it's going to stop on a random ism, and you tell me the most ridiculous examples in college. Okay, kookapak kick cat chuk tick tuck to rape.
Oh, okay. I think we talked about that a lot already.
Give me your kookiest one that we have not covered.
Let's see, my kookiest one that we have not covered. Oh, well, there was a survey that said like like 1 in 3 or a ridiculous amount of men said that they would like rape a girl, but it was like they asked like 20 random weird dudes, and all the headlines said like 1 in 3. So that's
such
another one.
fucking horse shit.
That's like I'm sure there's like one. I just don't buy that the reason people are getting raped is because they like there's a bunch of dudes running around
Wanting to rape.
They don't know they're raping people.
Jim Goad went to jail for 2 years for assaulting a woman, and he said, my entire life, including my time in jail, I've never met anyone who's like, I like to rape or has showed any inclination to rape whatsoever. And I know and I think I represent most normal heterosexual males. When we started out with fucking, we did the permission thing, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And then we started getting a little rougher and throwing, like, I remember fucking a girl when I was maybe 19 and I go, who's your daddy? I was just running through the Rolodex like, I'm a clown. Dolphins are amazing. There's a war going on outside. Who's your And then she was like, ah. And then I went, okay, we're going to pursue this vein. And so we got into the choke fucking and the slapping and the, you like that, you fucking whore? Because it got so many rewards.
Because that's where it was right? Because that's assuming, but that now it assumes that she would never be able. You'd have to add, yeah, kind of ruin it. Yeah, is this okay if I say this?
Women
sentence?
came up with this rough sex, is what I'm saying. And the idea that men are like, I want a girl screaming and crying. No.
Yeah, this survey was like less than 100 guys, and the ones that like did say that they thought about raping, like, that's horrible. Obviously, you're disgusting. But they use these studies that they ask like a very small amount of people.
Right.
And often these studies are like voluntary. Like the people come forward if they want to participate.
Right.
So in terms of, sexual assault, if you're a victim of sexual assault, you're going to want to go forward and, share your story. But then they say it represents the entire country in all of these headlines. Maybe at the bottom they make the distinction of where they got the data from, but not always, even that.
Well, there was an article, I forget who wrote it, but they were talking about the Miss Magazine 1 in 4, and this woman had run the numbers, and she's looking up arson and murder and assault, and nothing is even in the same universe as 25%.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
fucking madness. One case, I can't remember if you told me about this, but what was that case about some woman claiming that a man on campus reminded her?
Yep. This is the one. Yeah. It was in Harvard Law Review. It was in Oregon, private school in Oregon. They didn't disclose where, but this guy looked like somebody who had raped this girl, and seeing him on campus was triggering to her. So he had to like avoid anywhere where she could be on campus, or else he would get in trouble.
Right. They set up these parameters, these boundaries, and if he violates them, then he is at risk of losing his entire academic career.
Yeah. Plus, he was investigated too. Like they, probed his sex life and like all of his friends and like, just like totally violated. Violated. I'm not supposed to use the word violated. Sorry if anyone was triggered by that. But yeah. And it's like he's got to worry about him getting in trouble for what he looks like.
It's
Come
like
on,
racism.
man. It's ridiculous.
I mean, racism is the real pure definition is some innocent black dude is walking around and has to carry the burden of someone else and could be hurt, and it could hurt his own life even though he's lived a perfectly innocent life. This is what we've come down to now. This really pure, boiled down prejudice. That's what this poor fucking bastard is experiencing. Okay, let's try again. Gender.
Okay. I've told you about this one. The student who went to the women's college as a woman
I love this one.
Decided to transition into a man or identify as a man while there. Had everyone call her Timothy. Then decides that he wants to be class diversity officer. And these girls start an anonymous campaign saying abstain from voting. He can't be diversity officer because he's a white man now.
That brings up a great point. If your carburetor's fucked up in your car, do you want a fat rural dude in overalls to help you fix it? Or one of these women who identifies as a man? Like, if you want to be a man, there's a lot of stupid stuff that comes with that. Like riding a four-wheeler or a skidooing at night.
Skidooing at night.
Hunting, which involves sitting in a tree for 4 or 5 hours.
I would never want to do that.
Being totally scentless. Mm-hmm. You can't even piss or drink. Knowing about cars, caring about like things men love is recycling little things where I took these baby food jars and I put screws in this one, nails in this one, and the caps for electrical things in this one. Mm-hmm. Do these women who identify as men like any of that shit? Do they want to read Family Handyman?
I don't know. I have a lesbian aunt who's a hell of a mechanic, but other than that, yeah, I don't know.
That's a lesbian.
She's a lesbian. I let my Auntie Terry, great mechanic. Knows a lot about cars. But I don't know that they even really think that far. They're allowed to think that far because you're not even allowed to say that men and women are different.
Right.
That they have different
I want to punch one in the arm
characteristics.
for farting. We had a game in high school. if you fart and you don't say safety, we get to beat the shit out of you till you name
yeah.
5 breakfast cereals. I want to beat the shit out of them.
So you name 5 breakfast cereals?
Yeah, and you're getting pounded. So you're like, Cheerios, Wheaties, It's really hard to concentrate.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the part of that?
Yeah, well, right. Yeah. No, I don't.
Or what about you fart and you cup the fart and you hold it there, and then you go up to the dude and you open a little hole here and you go and blow it right into his face.
Nope, don't want to be a part of that either.
In fact, here's another thing about men. When that happens and you've been best friends with a guy for over 10 years and it reeks of, rotten eggs or something, you go, whoa, that was intense. You don't even mind.
That's disgusting.
You're a gourmand at that point.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Similarly, and I talked to Justine about this a little bit, but I don't get how I have to be a woman, I have to be a woman, I have to be a woman. You finally explode out of that cake at your coming out as a woman party. And then you're just jeans and a t-shirt or, with just like long hair, no makeup, like you're a tomboy. I thought why don't you just be a fucking dude?
I don't know. I'm always of the opinion that obviously you can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. I don't care what you want to wear or identify as. But don't like expect everyone right out the gate to like get it. Right away.
Well, you have to
and
go
don't,
for it. It's like, imagine you go, I'm Chinese. And you get the surgery, right, to lose your epicanthic folds. You go to China and you're just like watching American TV, hanging out at the American Expats bar. You haven't learned Mandarin. And you go, I thought you were dying to be Chinese. No, just the eyes. I'm Chinese, but I'm not into the language or the culture. And you go, why did you fucking fly to the other end of the world and move here when you're not that into it? I would understand if you moved here and you had the whole saving face and you were like doing the calligraphy perfectly and you never spoke English. I met a dude like that in China once. He had a Chinese wife and Chinese kids, and they didn't speak English in the home. That is commitment.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
But when you just have sweatpants on and fake tits, I don't understand why you moved over to that side. You're not a chick.
Well, I don't even think it is male and female now because there's like gender. It's a spectrum, and there's also gender fluid where you like sometimes during the day you're a man and sometimes during the day you're a woman, and schools are going to great lengths to kind of like the city
to incorporate this hatred of basic medicine.
The City University of New York, you can't even say like Mr. and Mrs. in correspondence with students because that might make people upset who don't identify by that. Which is, there was never a time, or at least not in recent years, where these kids who did have these, other ways they wanted to be addressed couldn't go tell the school that and no problem. We will call you whatever we want to call you. They need to change the entire everything because they're afraid of upsetting
somebody. What about
somebody.
science? Science has become offensive. I mean, if you give a tiny piece of human tissue to a geneticist, he'll tell you if it's male or female in a few minutes.
Yeah, sex and what they say is sex, and that's sex though, and then gender's different, and gender's whatever you want it to be, and you should really think about whether you really are the gender you say you are. You could be all these different genders. There's like a list of 100. Facebook's got like, I don't even know how many now, and then also an option to write in your own. So if you're writing in your own, what are you really even communicating?
Well, that comes down to money. Liberal arts colleges, when you make gender into this alphabet soup that can never truly be understood, you've just opened up a whole department. That's an entire wing of your university is devoted to basically My Little Pony. And you can change the rules and change the characters, and you just keep getting tuition, and they keep going deeper into debt, learning this fucking bullshit. I mean, I'm at the point now where I think if you go 50 grand in debt getting a liberal arts degree, it's New York City. You got hustled.
I agree.
You deserve it.
I agree that it's such a waste of money. And
what did you take?
Well, I went to Hillsdale, so I didn't have like. It's like obviously
I don't know what that is.
It's a really conservative school in Michigan. It doesn't accept any government funding, so they don't have to teach us a lot of that kind of stuff. Oh, so
you weren't a leper when you were in school. You were normal.
I was normal, and then when I moved to LA after school, it was like a little more.
And then you sort of went, "What the hell is going on around here?"
Yeah, and even when I talk to like my brother and sister in college right now, some of the stuff like my sister took the sociology class, and like she had a trigger kid. I feel
What's a trigger kid? It comes out and it's black?
No, the one who's like the trigger warnings with the one who's like wants a bunch of trigger warnings. There's always a kid who wants like a trigger warning.
Oh,
for
I'm sorry.
everything.
When you say kid, you mean a student.
I mean a student.
Oh, okay.
I mean a student that's, and it's almost like, of course, a lot of these kids are using it like as a way to get out of homework or tests. Like, I'm sorry, this assignment's too triggering. I can't do it. And the thing is the professor has to respect that, or else, you're being abusive by making them.
It's ironic that they're so sensitive about triggers when they are pro-choice and they could never look at a picture of a third trimester abortion. They couldn't even Google image abortion. If you're going to have beliefs, you have to have done your dirty work. You have to have done due diligence. And sometimes reality is going to slap you in the face. Like what we were saying with medicine. I can tell gender by a piece of tissue, and sex and gender are the same thing. And like, for example, your ovaries, they dry up around 30 and they're all but gone at 35, no matter what anecdotal evidence there is. When my wife was giving birth to our first child, they wheeled her through a door. She was 30. It said geriatric mothers. She was 32, sorry.
Yeah.
And that brings us to you. Now you're 26?
I'm 26.
26. So say you want to have, I assume you want to have 3?
No, maybe one.
One, you're not.
Or 2.
You're not continuing the species. You need to do 3.
3. I need to have 3.
Yeah. 26 is an amazing age because your party years are done, are winding down.
Yeah.
And you have to start, for the next 4 years, you have to start going, is this guy a loser or is he a good long-term investment? Like before now, you could date a rapper or a musician or an artist.
An artist.
But now you have to start going, is this guy driven? Do I want? So are you doing that?
Yeah, I have a boyfriend who's a wonderful guy. I think
Is he
we
the
met him,
comedian?
actually. Yeah, but he's like also he's also no, he's not just he's a journalist. He's into politics. He's done work with O'Keefe actually too.
Oh,
and
good.
stuff like that.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
He's driven. He gets
He's a
up.
driven guy.
What time does he get up at on a Monday morning?
8 or 9.
Oh,
you know
great.
What I mean?
Okay,
he gets up in the morning. He great guy. But yeah, there's a lot of this. You can't argue against biology. Like biology is sexist. Men can have kids when they're older than women can.
Yeah.
And sorry. But
Well,
what
there's
do you do?
Hate facts. We're in
Yeah.
an epoch now where there's hate facts, and you can say things that are unequivocally true, and you get in shit for them. We're winding down now, but I just want to spin the wheel 2 more times. Ready? You might think I know what it's going to land on. That's not true. It's
Oh, okay.
totally random. Homophobia.
Homophobia. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is these kind of the rape conversation with that is like there's like these people who are triggered by pretty much anything, and if you're a gay student on campus, you actually aren't. You don't have as many people for your
That's
cause
what I was just
anymore.
thinking. I've just
you don't
occurred
have
to me
as
that
many people for your
homophobia,
cause anymore.
homosexuals have been drowned out by the shrill screaming of all these fake gays.
There's people now. It's because I don't hear that much about it,
I
the
can't think
only
of one
time I
case.
hear about it is under the umbrella of LGBTQ, gender fuck,
Right.
BDSM. So it's like all in one, and there's these rallies where it's just like everybody rallying and they're naked and it's like slut walk and it's like, but nobody. I'm like, but
Yeah,
what?
that's not
you
gay.
walk up to these people and you're like, what do you want? And then
You know what? I think the only example I can think of LGs being fucked with is by this other alphabet soup where lesbians, now they're called hets or something because they're lesbian separatists and they don't want guys in a dress to come to their rape crisis center because a
Yeah.
woman was raped
There are-
by a guy
there
in a
are-
dress and she is traumatized by it. And these women are vilified now. These lesbian, real deal fucking dykes. They're vilified by this PC culture because they're just going by the book and they're saying men can't come to our shit.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, even the vagina monologues. That's being discouraged because
The
what
word
about women
men
with
without
huge
vaginas?
cocks? Yeah.
It's this huge disconnect now too, because it's like, so now vaginas are offensive to people without vaginas that wish they had vaginas, so you're not allowed to talk about your vagina, and that's feminist. I don't understand. I don't understand.
We've been putting so many sort of pie-shaped slats on this spinning wheel that gays and lesbians got pushed out. They just tumbled to the floor. Races kept on. Congratulate. Good work for the blacks. They're still on the wheel, but their days are numbered. They're getting pushed out by normal. It's kind of like the 50s all over again. Normal, white, middle-class people are pushing out minorities.
Right, yeah.
From oppression.
Right, they're the ones being like, no, Margaret Cho, you can't, you're being how dare you be racist against yourself? And you can't say that. And
Well, think of the 50s. You had whites chasing around Jews, race mixers, blacks, and they were all not rich, but they were all normal white people chasing around these freaks. Today, they're all white. They're chasing around Naomi Schaefer Riley, calling her a racist. She's married to a black man and she made black kids. John Derbyshire, he's an evil racist, but he's married to a Chinese woman, made Chinese kids. Jim Goad, who lives in an all-black neighborhood. Jared Taylor, who was born in Japan. Japanese is his mother tongue. Even Leslie Arfin, who would hate being on this list, was back when they were doing the first season of Girls. She was called a hipster racist. So they're still chasing Jews and race mixers, but now it's gone from you fucking freaks to you fucking racists.
Yeah, race. Yeah. Well, then there's all this microaggressions or whatever. So you're racist without knowing it. If you say something that's racist on accident, and they have these studies. Harvard came out with studies saying microaggressions can make you die faster, which it's like I guess that was their best answer to why should we care about this.
And how do you disprove that?
How do you I think if you're upset about microaggressions, you have a life full of stress and that makes you die faster. Like, okay,
you need it's like this Detroit preacher I saw last night who said that the drinking supply is so toxic in Detroit that it's like genocide. It's the Holocaust all over again. And he doesn't have to prove that. He just has to say no one knows the long-term ramifications of this horrible thing.
Exactly.
Well, let's wrap it up with the future. Because surely this can't last. If you teach astrology in class and you teach that a lot of the Illuminati are lizard people, and you teach that white males meet every weekend in a secret room to ruin the world, surely checks and balances appear at some point, and people are going to go, this $60,000 investment into a liberal arts degree isn't panning out in the real world.
Right.
Is that going to happen?
I don't know, because I think it's just people there's no independent thought. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to go to college because everyone's going to college and I need to get a job. I need to go to college. And they're all in debt. There's so many kids that have so much debt. I knew what I wanted to do and that college was a way to get me there. And that's what I did. I got into Columbia Journalism School and did not go because I would have had to take out a bunch of money for a journalism degree, which, by the way, entry-level journalism jobs don't pay a ton of money.
No.
So, I mean, my aunt who works, she works for the government. She says she sees a lot of applications from people who went to Columbia Journalism School.
Really?
And they basically can't be journalists because of the money they spent on journalism school.
They learn all this socialist dogma and they end up being we can't all be Alex Wagner. There's no jobs for you to conform to the hordes.
But they're being told to follow their hearts. Follow your heart and study something you really, really believe in. And, first of all, what you believe in college, you probably won't believe forever. I mean,
of course not.
I hope not. But I mean, the way that they're being trained is they also don't even know how to defend themselves because they can't. You can't present an opposing view.
They don't bring any.
They don't bring any opposing views, and they're not being asked to present arguments for why they feel the way they do.
I mean, that's something we didn't even touch on, but the whole vilification of talks on campus and speakers getting shut down. And, a mob will chase them out or scream, I won't be silenced by your violence.
Yeah.
So, even when there's someone seemingly on their side, it's just the wrong kind of anarchist or the wrong kind of liberal.
Feminist, whatever it is. Yeah.
I mean, we obviously don't have a crystal ball here, but I don't see how you can sell a product that doesn't work forever.
Yeah.
It's only been shitty since the mid 90s college education. So it's only been like a generation and a half of garbage. This can't last. I don't see 19-year-olds going to college anymore. I don't see them. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or else it becomes free. I think I talk to a lot of idiots who are purposely. I do. That should be my job description. But they are saying I'm paying off only the interest on my student loans because Elizabeth Warren's going to be president and
great.
she's going to take care of it.
Yeah.
They're approaching. This is their financial game plan. And these are even like young people who are about to start families, and they're like, "Well, yeah, I have all this debt, but it's going to be gone," and they're just counting on it. So either that's not going to happen or that is going to happen. But either way, it's a lot of money. Kids own 30 grand.
It's a lot of money
grand,
to
70 grand
learn
for
lies.
What?
It's like
Yeah.
learning Klingon.
Exactly.
Well, it can't last. We're praying that it doesn't last. And I'd like to thank you for coming on the show and
thanks for
telling us
having me.
just how bad it is.